Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Flash Season 3, Episode 3. It's called Magenta, full spoilers for the episode as always. This probably is the best episode of the season so far.
I think it helps that Wells is back.
Wells is back, yeah, Wells and Jesse show up from Earth 2 for some advice slash testing slash things. And we also have a villain in this episode by the name of Magenta, who has telepathy, but only when...
Telekinesis.
Sorry, telekinesis. The other one.
They're very different.
They are very different, but they're both mind powers. But yeah, but the twist on it is, though, of course, that she only has it when her Magenta persona... It's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde situation, where the persona takes over, and that's when she has the power. Otherwise, she's just a normal teenage girl, from the sounds of it. So that's just the two main plots. But yeah, not only was it the best episode of the season so far, I think it was also one of the funniest episodes of the show ever.
Yeah, it was. That knot thing was killing me.
Yeah, Wells doing the Borat knot.
Yeah.
Three
And then
times. Three times he did it.
What was best is like, after the first one, Cisco went, "Oh, is Earth 2 still doing knot?" And Jess was like, "No, that's just him."
Yeah, but that wasn't even the funniest Wells got.
No.
When he was trying to convince Caitlin to talk to her, he was doing some weird things where he was kind of... it was so out of character almost, the way he was talking to them.
That is the way he was like sweet talking her into it and
Yeah.
like begging at the like. It's like this half sweet talk, half beg.
I don't know if I've ever seen Wells act like this. And then the other thing that really made me laugh, but I also really liked, is that as soon as Barry said, "I've never been in this speed training room," Wells went, "Barry, what did you do? What did you do, Barry? You've been messing with the timeline again." Oh, that really cracked me up.
I like that his timeline meddling doesn't affect Earth 2, though.
Yeah, that is interesting. That could lead to some interesting things. I also like that they kept, like, not only the time room, but they also brought up this, that they all have different alerts for on their
So
phones.
they got like panic buttons. And
Yeah,
stuff.
because as Cisco said, they keep being kidnapped. But I like that more little things are cropping up that are new because of the timeline messing.
Yeah, but they're things I'm more or less okay with.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Like, sure, they basically use it as an excuse to build a new set, so they'd have a new room to be in. Like, that's basically what happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
Other fun stuff though that I really enjoyed was Cop Dad. Good
Yeah.
cop, bad cop, dad cop.
Yeah, it also really like. I mean, obviously we spoke for a while how Joe West is such a fantastic dad on TV, but with Harry as well, it's weird to think. I struggle to think of many shows with one good like dad figure. This has like two.
Three, technically. I mean,
Well, I mean, all right, two in this episode.
Yeah.
Two at a time.
yeah, because not only did not only did Joe and Barry have good scenes, and again that scene was funny for the whole. Oh no, you were like having a second daughter. You opened up with all your feelings every chance you got. But not only did they have a great scene, and I also really liked later when Barry's berating Wally for trying to jumpstart his powers, which we'll get to the actual plot of that in a minute. But he also had a really great scene with Wells, where Wells sort of like didn't really blame him, or at least didn't guilt trip him for causing a lot of problems, like Doctor Alchemy and all these powers and all that, or because of Flashpoint, because he has the same guilt for building the accelerator and causing all the metahumans on his Earth. So there was this weird, it was actually quite a good scene between them.
Because it was acknowledgement that it was his fault, but it was kind of without judging him for it either.
Yeah. But given Wells' past, it also felt like a big deal for him to come out and just... Because I feel like every time it has come up, he's kind of like, yeah, I know it's my fault, and I have to deal with that. Let's get on with that. Like, he's always very quick to just gloss over it and get on with things. And he even says the line is, you're hardening yourself too much. I've never been hard enough on myself. Or that wasn't the exact phrase, but it was that.
Yeah, you're too quick to forgive yourself, and I don't forgive myself enough. Something like that.
It was the opposite, but yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
All the way
It was
around,
about
but yeah.
it was about forgiveness.
Yeah. So I thought that was actually a really touching scene, and it worked because of all the build-up. Speaking of touching, Is it just me, or does Iris and Barry have suddenly much more chemistry?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. This season, I don't, it's just the West in general.
Other than Joe, Joe's always been
All right,
perfect.
yeah, yeah. But the two West kids.
It's good though, and I actually, because I feel like at the start when the date wasn't going so well, and like I was worried we are going to, oh maybe this is a sign, but I love that it's not actually Iris that brings that up, it's Barry, and Iris is like, no.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of that because it's usually the love interest that says that, and then we have to put it on the back burner for a while we deal with our feelings. Um,
I like that it was like addressed as like a cliche though,
yeah,
almost. And
yeah.
then they were just like, now acknowledging that this is a thing we should be expecting, but we're not going to do it.
Yeah. Well, because that's, do you know what the great thing about this relationship is, though? Is that she already knows that he's the Flash. So she can't get mad at him for having to run off to save people. And even when he does, he's back in 5 seconds anyway, so who cares?
Yeah. But so she's a little bit annoyed, like, because she's like, oh, come on. But then she's like, okay, I get it. You got to do it.
I wouldn't even
But
say she's a not. Like, the only time she's a anti-Flash is at the start. When it comes up that there's a robbery across the street, she's immediately saying go.
she's like,
Like,
go. But at the same time, she's kind of like a little bit exasperated.
well, see, the thing is, though, is I was expecting him to do the look afterwards, where she looks disappointed or upset. You know, that look, you know.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's while she's saying it, she's like, fine, go on. You know, you got to do it.
But
But she's not. But she's like, all right. But at the same, she understands it.
but the point I'm making though is it's nothing compared to other shows that have done this exact thing.
No, it's not.
It's not even close. It's not even in the same scale. It is
Yeah.
so not there. It's just completely natural. And because of that, by the end of the episode, when they have the second date and he has to run off for whatever reason, she doesn't. Because that was when I was worried they were going to do the look. That look in her face where she isn't sure if this is going to work out, and it ended on a downbeat moment. But instead, she smiled and she was excited because they could not only start being a couple, but start being a couple knowing fully who each other are and be who they are. And that was kind of the whole point of them like working it out at the end. Is like, well,
Yeah.
no, we're trying to be other people who go on normal dates, and we're not that.
Yeah.
We're
No, I did really like that.
so no, I appreciate that. But yeah, so back to the main plot points then. So Jesse has powers and even gets called Jesse Quick, and I thought we were going to see her in the costume when he revealed the costume, and we didn't. So I guess they're saving that for next week.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to end with like a shot of her, like you know, like a team shot almost.
Yeah, and she loves her powers, which is a nice running thread on this show when people. At least the heroes, the villains not so much maybe, but the heroes seem to love the powers.
As well, they should.
Yeah, except Caitlin, who's hiding it like there's no tomorrow, and keeps saying really weird things in front of people too.
Yeah, it was really funny when Harry was asking Cisco to go and speak to Jess. He's like, "You got powers, you know what you're doing. Go and talk to her." And then Caitlin's like, "Oh," and then he asked Caitlin, and she goes, I don't have powers. I don't know what I'm talking about."
Yeah. But of course that leads to Wally, who seems a little bit jealous and or disappointed that he does not have speed powers. Now we know they're coming, because he's Wally West.
Yeah.
That's just a flash fact. But him jumping out in front of the car to kickstart his power, because that's how Jesse got hers, was a
Stupid.
bit stupid. Bit stupid.
Also, I do have one concern going forward with this plot thread. Obviously, I want them just to get to him having powers so that we could have that, because obviously. But the fact that they're gonna do the, I'm worried they're gonna do this thing where he's gonna realize that Barry's been keeping the secret that he had them in Flashpoint, because now he's kind of realizing the dreams are real, and they're gonna have this thing about it. And I don't know. I'm just sick of the secret stuff.
I don't think I am, because I feel like a lot of people haven't really been keeping secrets, especially since Barry openly said, "I will tell you things if you ask me."
That's true.
So you can't really hold it against him because he offered the information.
It's true, but I still feel like they're gonna, which is why I'm a little concerned. It's after that is why I think I'm a little bit concerned if they do take that route, because it feels like, well, no,
I
they
feel
said
like
you could have just asked.
I feel like Wally will keep them the dreams to himself a while he's having them, but I don't. If there is conflict, I feel like it'll be quick.
Hopefully.
I don't know. I feel like you might be worrying for nothing here,
I
just
might well
because.
be, and I really hope I am.
And even if it is, I don't think it's a big deal. Like I feel like, whatever. It'll be an episode or two of whatever,
Yeah, but like I said, just like the fact that he did offer them the information, if they do this thing where he goes, "Oh, you were keeping it from us,"
No, but
then
that's exactly why it won't last. It'll be over quickly because you'll just mention that, and there you go. End of discussion.
well, if it plays like that, sure. But I've just got still I have a concern that it won't.
Okay,
I could be wrong.
I can't really fight you on it because it's just a
It is, yeah,
prediction. So, but hey.
yeah,
Um. So, Magenta.
yes.
Uh, she goes nuts and lifts up a ship.
Look pretty good.
It did look pretty good, actually. I particularly liked the shot of that was low angled, looking up at her as it was going over the top of her, upside down. That looked
Yeah.
quite good, actually. Surprisingly. And Jessie got to jump in with her powers. I thought this was fine. My only real complaint about this plot is the dad was so like 2-dimensional. Like the fact that when Iris goes to see him when he's in the hospital, and he openly says that he's going to beat up his daughter and send her to the
Yeah,
hospital.
I have a question. If he has like a prior criminal record, how is he allowed to be a foster parent? Surely that's like a criteria. It's like, no, you have a criminal record. You probably shouldn't be fostering these kids. Just you'd think there'd be a basic screening process where it's like, hang on, this guy's got this a record, because it's not just one thing either. Caitlin says, "Oh, he's got a record of like this, a history of this." You'd think they'd be like, "Well, maybe you shouldn't be taking these kids."
Speed Force, bro.
I'll allow it.
I don't have anything else. It's a valid complaint. I have nothing else. Our backstory, like when the dad comes home, he's like, "Where's my dinner? Why is it not on the table?" I'm like, "Oh my god, this scene that's been in like 100 things and feels outdated and has felt outdated for God knows how long." But nah, so that would be my complaint. But it didn't really matter. It was kind of just there for.
Yeah, it wasn't really important, but it could have been better still.
I mean, ultimately, the whole thing was there to A, that show that Alchemy's doing more of this and there's more of these villains coming, and B, to give them a situation where Jesse had to go help Flash. And by the way, Wells saying the run Jesse run line, very nice.
Yeah. Also, I will say about that, I do wish Jesse had gone to Magenta instead of taking the ship over. Like, I feel like Barry was like, I should have been like, "I've got this. You know, you go deal with it."
I thought that's how it was going to go down. I was surprised when it was the opposite, but
Yeah.
I don't know. The image of Flash like hugging her when she broke down was actually kind of sweet though. So
It was.
I'll give them some points. Although I was sort of in my head, I was theorizing as it was like going on. And he was talking to her, and the ship's about. I was like, well, what if she just snaps out of it and she doesn't have her powers anymore, and the ship's just like lingering up there? Do they just like keep speeding until everyone evacuates the building and then they just let it land?
I mean, I guess.
Or do they keep speeding
And
until
slow down gradually.
construction workers can build enough scaffolding around the whole thing to hold it up?
That's a good question. Also, I have a question. What happened to friction?
Do you know, I actually thought that was well. There was a lot of running around in this episode with regular clothes on.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
It was happening in Flashpoint as well, but, you know.
Honestly, it's been happening. The only times it's happened after the pilot that I can remember is when it's for a joke in either Felicity or Supergirl had to set their tops on fire. That was literally the only time I can remember it happening other than the pilot.
Yeah, same. But it's like, you know, but that thing with Supergirl, that was not that long ago.
That wasn't, no.
Which is like, well, hang on. Is this not a thing still? Like,
It's not. No, it's not. Just forget it, because it's going to keep happening, and there's no point in complaining about it every time. It's not an
I'm not going
issue.
to complain about it every time. I just thought it was worth mentioning.
So yeah, just accept it, and then when it does happen, it's like, aye, sure. Aye. I mean,
Aye.
we needed that for a joke or for X reason. There'll be a plot reason why it happens the next time. I'm betting you money it is.
I will not take that bet because you're probably right.
Yeah. Oof. So, I think that's everything. Isn't it? Well, except the ending. And Tom Felton's still berating Barry for X, Y, and Z.
I was really enjoying him this episode, actually.
Right, were you enjoying how he just went after the girl and started shouting at her?
I kind of was, and the way he was, and then But before that, he was like, nah, this isn't right. I don't trust this. And he
You,
just kind of goes in, acts really nice. It's like, what's he doing?
you did this, you metahuman scum. He may as well have shouted that.
He might as well. He's not wrong though. I mean, technically, if you want to go on the personalities, he was wrong. But you know,
Well, no, he's not wrong with the accusation. He'd be wrong. He was wrong in the way he went about it.
maybe.
I'm
I
not.
still thought it was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was, but my complaint is not his diagnosis; it's his bedside manner, if you will.
That's kind of what I'm enjoying about it. The fact that he's so blunt.
Yeah, he's a dick. He's a complete
Yeah,
dick.
and it's enjoyable.
Sure, because you're a dick as well, so
Well, yeah,
you're
but
relating to him in some sort of weird. If he was ginger, you would be practically obsessive over him.
it's probably true.
Ah, dear. But aye, at the end, they see what's his face rival in his cell at Iron Heights, and some invisible force comes in and roughs him up. And did he take him or kill him?
Kill him.
Kill him. And they, you know, and then Felton's all like, "Oh, Barry, you sound like you've heard alchemy before." No.
That was another thing. You know when after he accused her and then she turned and sent all the powers on him, and then Flash is just there, and does he not look around and go, "Hang on, Barry's not here"? I feel like he's going to put it together pretty quickly.
It's funny actually. Last week I meant to say this, but I do want to, even though it seems far too obvious, I do want to put it out there that it has crossed my mind. What are the odds at the end of this season, or halfway through the season, whenever they decide to reveal it, that Felton is Dr. Alchemy?
That's the thing. It feels so obvious, but
But I'm not
then
going to put it. This show is willing to do the obvious. They've done it before, so I'm not ruling it out.
That's the thing. I can't rule it out either. But then it feels too obvious.
It does, especially after last season when the one new character was the guy who ended up being the villain.
Yeah, and especially when you think of Tom
Actually,
Tom, think of villain.
That's not true. Patty was new as well, and she didn't turn it to be a villain.
Don't remind me about Patty.
Oh,
I'm still upset
Patty's going
about
to come
that.
back, and Barry and Iris are going to be like proper couple. Oh, it's going to be
Well,
great.
he can just leave Iris.
Nah, I'm on the Irish train now.
I mean, I am until Patty's back.
No, Patty's going to come back, and she's going to die, and it's just going to be glorious.
I will stab you.
She's going to die a horrible death, and she's going to say, "Barry, if you only were in love with me, still you'd have saved me." And then he'll be like, "I know," and just run away.
You're such a dick.
Oh, so good. But yeah, he's also really my only suspect at this point, though. For Alchemy.
He is the only person that we can suspect.
If it's not him, then it's a doppelganger from another Earth.
That, or it's just someone that doesn't matter. Like, you know, they'll just reveal it.
Or it's
It's
Eddie.
not this again.
It could be Eddie, because Flashpoint happened.
It's true, but didn't we do this last season?
We did, but it's possible that it's Eddie. It is legitimately possible.
Oh, every season. It's Eddie. I'm telling you, this one is Eddie.
Because technically Reverse Flash never get trapped in the past, so it wouldn't have led to the events. Although that would wipe out most of season 1, and it seems like that still happened until they tell us otherwise, so I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
That's the Flash, guys. Episode 3. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments and all that stuff. Give us your wild theories. Who is Dr. Alchemy? We want to know. Do you have a better guess than ours? I'd love to
I will
hear it.
say, last point.
Oh.
I really like that when they still say alchemy, Cisco's like Dr. Alchemy, even this week.
Fair. So, yeah, like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next time. Keep watching TV, guys. That's a flash fact.